time for our Ladies of Real segment. Last week we had the Titanic, this week we have Gangs of New York. His hair might be longer, but he's still hot in my book.
Yep, and this movie isn't just for the ladies. It's got Cameron Diaz for all you men tuning in.
Men watching a segment for ladies for Leo? Yeah, right. Anyway, this movie was one part comedy, historical, and some romance, but too much violence, which I didn't like.
I love that it was directed by Martin Scorsese. He's worked with Leonardo DiCaprio before. They did Shutter Island, Aviator, and The Departed. So there's definitely going to be good chemistry.
Yep, and for all those history buffs out there, it's got a lot of history. It takes place in the 1840s, which was during the Civil War, of course, right when Lincoln was freeing all the slaves. And throughout the movie, the draft of the Civil War is expressed, and people had to pay $300 in order to get out of it.
That's a lot of young money.
Wow, that is. During this time, the Catholic Irishmen came to America because of the Irish potato famine, which obviously caused problems for the natives. They love their American land.
Yep, and this movie's plot is based on the ongoing war with the nativists and the immigrants, or the Dead Rabbits, which is the main gang portrayed.
Did you see the opening scene? I personally thought it was too gory and too much of a guy movie, but it starts off with a scene in the snow, and then it's a battle, and then we get to see Leo, baby Leo, for the first time.
Yep, let's play that.
The True Lord!
You really thought the scene was that horrible? I loved it. I love the way Martin depicted the war between the nativists and the Dead Rabbits. It just all gelled really well together.
I couldn't take my eyes off of it. Even though there was a lot of blood, I thought it was a great opening. And then after this, it continues to show how Leonardo's father is killed by the bloodthirsty butcher. No pun intended.
So funny, Heather. Anyway, the scene sets up the conflict for the rest of the film, and it basically shows us that Amsterdam, played by my luscious Leo. Amsterdam comes back to 5 Points to avenge his father's death. Ever since he was a little boy, revenge has been the only thing on his mind.
Juicy storyline, right? And Amsterdam meets Bill the Butcher, played by Daniel Day-Lewis. He meets him in his butcher shop and has a desire to befriend him before he gets his revenge on him.
What I noticed during this film, though, was that Amsterdam's self-confliction. I thought it was just sad how he loved enjoying his time with Bill, but then he wants to gain revenge on his father. That's what you're seeing the two scenes about.
With this knife that struck him down, let me put to rest my father's ghost.
Oh, you got a murderous rage in you, and I like it. Oh, it's life. Boiling up inside of you is good. The priest and me, we lived by the same principles. It was only faith divided us. He gave me this, you know. That was the finest beating I ever took.
Why would he even like that Bill guy? He's so creepy with his glass eye, except Daniel Day-Lewis does do a good job at portraying this maniacal character.
Whoa.
Wow, impressive diction. Word of the day from writing.
Oh, we've got the best part of the movie, the romance, of course. When Cameron Diaz gets on the scene, it gets hot and heavy as she plays the character Jenny Everdeen.
Yep.
She's portrayed as this innocent damsel in distress, yet she has a manipulative side to her, which may be why Amsterdam is so attracted to her.
Maybe I should learn a thing or two, right? I love her character in this film. It shows her the certain bad side of Cameron Diaz that she doesn't show very often. It's kind of like her role in Charlie's Angels, where she's a kick-ass undercover agent, because in this film, she's a pickpocketer. And I also enjoyed that she put a little humor into the movie, which is showed in this part.
Look where you're going, Johnny. You look stunned and poorly, sir. Quite a pair of conversationists, aren't you?
Maybe not. We're deep thinkers.
Well, gentlemen, I leave you in the grace and favor of the Lord.
Jenny, finest bludgeon in all the points. She is a prim-looking stargazer. I'd check my pockets if I was you, because I do believe she lifted your timepiece. But I let her take it. I let her take things all the time. Is that right?
Kelly, you're right. I love this part of the movie. It showed the whole comedic side of the film.
Yeah, and Johnny likes Jenny, yet Jenny falls for Amsterdam. Can you say love triangle?
I mean, who can blame her? It's Leonardo DiCaprio.
But Leo had to dump her when he found out she was hanging out with Bill the Butcher.
I know, right? Ew, he's old and
Sugar
creepy.
daddy.
Sugar daddy.
And Bill the Butcher is psychotic, but he does have good character because, set aside his craziness, he has beliefs that he's willing to defend. Like, he kills people, but it's all for the love of his country.
Yeah, but he's still a bloodthirsty murderer.
Overall, I loved all the great acting. I loved Daniel Day-Lewis especially. I loved how he portrayed the insane butcher. No one could do it better.
Yeah, and Cameron Diaz with her feisty side, and I love her as a ginger.
Heather, let's be honest.
I mean, Leonardo DiCaprio definitely takes the cake in this film. He's pleasing to the eye, obviously, but he also demonstrates his strong acting skills because his character talks very little, yet shows his powerful persona.
Yep, and I definitely like this more than Scorsese's other gangster films like Goodfellas and Casino, where the main goal of the protagonist is just to like make money and, you know, be the top man with killing people and drugs and everything. This one actually shows real conflict.
Amen. This movie actually portrays the historical reality of how gangs were back then. That they actually fought for a cause and fought for the ideals rather than, like Heather, you said, the glamorous lifestyle. I think he did a really good job.
Because the underlying goal for the nativists and the Irish immigrants was just to gain respect from each other.
Overall, I thought this film should belong on the History Channel, not something we'd show on E. And it was a little long for my taste, so just make sure to get some extra popcorn at the theater.
I thought Martin did a great job. This movie had the great combo of drama, romance, Little the Gangster, and Leo, of course.
Yep, he definitely did, and that last scene was a great wrap-up. It showed the change of the history in New York from the 19th century to the 21st century, and how neither the nativists or the Irish could resist the change. But we can't spoil the rest of it for you.
So let's rate this film. For hotness,
Yes. Date night, not so much.
Dump him.
family,
No,
not good.
too much, you know. Anyways,
night,
guys,
bro.
yeah,
Yeah, bro.
violence,
What?
yeah, Academy Award high class, yep, all that history, education.
We just saw Justin Bieber backstage. Here he is now. Justin, I have a question. Did you really get a girl pregnant?
I don't even know the girl, but buy my new perfume at Macy's.
All right.
Baby, baby, baby.
Okay, well, that's our story for today. Tune in next week, folks.